Whoa.
Hey, how did you go?
So this is when we don't say racist things.
So, would anyone recall what happened last session? Brave Adventures doesn't seem right. The Tuxford Institute prospects.
There were some issues with the freedom of one of our member.
Yes.
Who was he didn't have a good time of it.
I was there for noble reason. I just wanted some stick and wood, some wood.
We've got some dragon's blood and a vase with an arm in it.
Yes, I remember the dragon's blood. Yes.
I seem to have a recollection about the arm.
So yeah, we went to a lumber mill after a series of events. Chasing down a potential lead for some stolen artifacts, if I recall.
The relic.
That's cool.
The relic, I think that's the word they used.
Ooh.
That is cool.
This is the Tuxedos. You're under arrest.
What is it?
Badges.
A Christmas thing.
Yeah, it's like a box of champagne or something.
Like,
Open up.
like that.
You literally have no authority in the city.
No, we have badges. So we have
Well, I
badges.
do have a +5 to my charisma and deception. This means something. Open.
Yeah.
What does it say? It says I'm in charge. It says I'm in charge.
Anti-surveillance.
So, yes,
I'm trying. We were chasing down the relic, weren't we?
yes. The relic was retrieved by William. You took it out of the box and
Yes.
you
Use a container.
shoved a few bags of dragon's blood in your shirt. I think you have one brick and
I think they're referred to as keys in the trade.
yeah. And
What has happened to you?
Vassalai has 2 more, I believe.
One, he says. One. What he's figured
One.
it there.
What?
I thought I was into the picture. I took as many as I could.
Oh,
Look at
Physically
you.
carry
Crazy don't tea.
William had like 9 kilos and I took 1.
And not 9.
It's his cannon.
I'm
9.
high.
3, 2.
I've
I,
had
def-
one.
I took 1 off him anyway.
You left 1. I don't know why. I think you plan to
I
chuck
think
it as a
we-
distraction or something.
I say a free one in anger, which I'm going to go back for later.
Okay.
When I run out.
Yeah, I did, didn't I? I threw it in the river.
Yeah,
Somebody
you
threw
threw
it, yeah.
You know what they say? Always return to the scene of the crime.
Yes.
That's where they least expect you to be.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
When there's a city manhunt for you, they're not going to look where you were.
Okay, maybe.
We've been here less than a day, and there's a manhunt for you.
Yeah. Recovered a relic. Found some suspicious drugs, and there was clearly like some very backroom dealings going on to acquire these strange relics. We're not quite sure who's responsible, but we found the mirror.
It was sent to someone, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's definitely somebody.
The proprietor was arranging a sale
Yes,
for this day or the next morning.
yes. That's
Of the
exactly what I
relic.
remember.
They had confirmed its authenticity using an alchemist.
Usual export route tomorrow. So it's something that they've done often.
I can confirm it.
So,
Don't make me laugh, my ribs are-
Sorry.
Vassalai, William, Althea. As you begin swimming through the night, through Lake Dawn, ambaric spotlights from Vassalai Police Department boats which are searching the lake swing out, lighting up. In fact, can I have a stealth check from all 3 of you?
Oh, mummy. 19.
Very good.
Yes. Oh. Those look nice with popcorn in the corner.
Okay, pop up.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Like it.
Vassalai,
7.
7.
It showed me.
It's so cool.
The boats begin Circling nearby, every so often you hear, carried over the waves, voices of, I see movement. So it's grid 7.
They have a grid system for a lake.
What are you doing? Or rather, where are you going? At the moment, you're swimming through the lake.
I don't think we know. We're trying to
I
evade
remember.
capture.
Yes, escape.
Yeah, go to the other bank, other side of the river,
Yeah.
and then do we double back?
Surely it follows there.
We want to get back to the institute unnoticed.
With this arm.
Eventually, with our prize.
Yeah, would we go across the bank or would we go along the river, like not having a map? I don't know.
How well do we know
Yeah,
the...
we would know, wouldn't we? Yeah.
This is an old map. There's a city in this place now. But your Lake Zarovic was renamed to Lake Dawn.
As you do.
You are in the middle, pretty much, where 100 years ago, a fisherman threw a woman in a young girl into the lake.
I feel nervous about being here.
So you can swim to the opposite side, where there is a roaring lumber industry. The trees are cut down and kind of sent across the lake to be harvested nearer to the docks of the city. Or you can try and double back to the city.
We see roughly where the boats are. Is there any part of that shore with the city they're not patrolling?
Make a perception check.
I would guess.
A 9.
I guess that anywhere back towards the city would be cool.
Riddle of 8.
You cannot see a clear way back.
In any direction.
Not back to the city.
Oh, probably.
You could continue across to the other
I
side.
think we should continue to the other side. I'm swimming with one arm, so I'm holding an arm, another arm with another arm. I've got 3 arms and I've only got 1 arm.
Have you ever tried to swim with 1 arm and 4 kilos in your chest?
They float, right?
Is that
They're
stuff
like
water
buoys.
soluble?
It's actually not.
That's why you did it.
I don't think
No,
it's
that's a
your
good
blood.
thing.
No, I thought it meant it's going to dissolve or something before I can eat it all.
No.
Nearly a 3-eyed fish up here.
It's,
The more you take, the less heavy it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll keep. Yeah. Literal sharded glass. Yeah.
so you're going to swim to the opposite side.
Yeah,
I
that
believe
seems
so. I think we're
safe.
out. I think we're out.
We're experienced
No,
swimmers.
con save. No, athletics.
Check.
Athletics check.
Oh, she.
Oh, sweet. Oh, it's my fault. 16 from me.
Good.
A natural 1.
I saw that bubble. I wish I didn't.
You take a point of exhaustion
Oh
Damn it.
shit!
as the
Oh no, I hate exhaustion. Why would you do this?
Just really strong too.
I'm not playing anymore. I hate this game and I hate you.
The gang makes Steve not want to play.
because Alpne, despite your protestations to the others that you should return to the city, because you can feel, although you don't want to admit it, the cold water draining your strength, they convince you to swim on past the point where you can bear. And at several times you think you're dying, drowning, but eventually you make it to the other side, exhausted.
Oh, and yeah.
Shut your face.
Meanwhile, Pellerhound. Consciousness slips in and out. The head clumps to your head, still reverberates throughout your skull. At times when you're waking, you feel the gradual rolling of a cart across cobbled stones. Perception check.
Oh, that's the wrong books.
25.
25. Sitting directly opposite you, motionless. It's the effigy that captured you, sharing your cabin. There are windows on this carriage, but they are barred. Where there would be a door, there is bars. He stands between you and the door. Outside, despite the darkness, you can see a tall structure approach you, a looming crenellated tower surrounded by thick walls. You know of no castles in Barovia, other than the now decrepit yet famous Ravenloft. And you know you haven't been traveling far enough, long enough to reach out. And also Ravenloft does not hold. The drawbridge comes up behind you. The cart comes into a courtyard. It does not stop as it goes directly into a building. Lose consciousness again. Times you awake. The sound of murmurs and screaming. Dark, lantern-lit passages, like a dungeon. Except more modern by Valacrest standards. Sheer metal where you would expect stone. Some places padded walls. Lose consciousness again. You awake in a room. Within this room, there are no windows. There are no doors. It is a perfect cube, desk, 2 seats in the center, for which you are sitting on one. Standing by the wall is another effigy. You cannot tell if it is the same. In fact, make an investigation check. You cannot tell if it is the same effigy. You have, to this point, only seen one. And as you look closely, you can see engraved on its chest the letters VPD. Is there anything you wish to do?
First of all, make a very quick check of my person. Is there anything on me? Am I robed and do I have my possessions?
You're robed. You are not bare. You do not have any weapons or small possessions.
I see.
Also, your shoelaces and belt have been taken.
A small job because I didn't have very good shoes. Okay. It's just me and the effigy.
Just you and the effigy.
This would have been quite peaceful if you weren't here. I'm seated, correct?
You're seated.
Oh, thank goodness you found me then. I had no idea what those 3 were going to do to me in there. Some of the things they said, wow. Make your blood turn if you had any. How long have I got to be here before you can let me on my way? Do I see any response from you? Yeah.
Make a insight check.
Not great. Would you take my passing? It's a 10. Look, no, it's a 10. I rolled a 10.
A very inscrutable blank face. Behind you, you hear a voice. You won't get much out of him. Welcome to Rittenhall, by the way. You turn around and you see a small gnomish man. Difficult to tell with gnomes, but approximately middle age. Probably 60s, early 70s. He has black hair with a streak of white through it. A rather pallid expression, and wears a dark suit, not a uniform of Valacrest Police Department, but a suit and tie. Not expensive, not poorly kept. Formal. He comes in and throws a few files on the floor, on the table. I wish, I fucking wish, you know the fuck, any comprehension of how much work you've just caused me.
Well, I do apologise if you expect me to understand. I can't quite read these on your eyes. You'll have to explain, my friend.
Allow me, Shah.
Please.
This is approximately 8 months of good, fine detective work. See this here?
I do.
You see, he points at photographic representations of, it looks like a crater surrounded by burnt out buildings. This is the former abode of a family of 3. Their 14-year-old child took dragon's blood. Both them and the old woman above died. The child survived, by the way. When he blew up, he took his family with him, made himself an orphan. He's now in St. Lucian's orphanarium. This one here, husband, loved his wife, till he took dragon blood and convinced she was a demon. Beat her face to a pulp until her voices stopped. This one here, fucking turned to sand.
I'm so sorry. Continue. It's not what you said. Carry on.
He put that glass shit in his arm and he dissolved, disintegrated. That's what the spellcasters call it, disintegration. They didn't fucking have a body to bury. So why don't you start by telling me what you were doing in a fucking warehouse full of dragon blood, which was hours away from the greatest fucking sting in police history, when we were going to round up the leaders of the people peddling this shit in my city, and tell me what you were doing, burning it fucking down.
I think I might just start off and say I fully support your stance on drugs. I fully agree with that. As for the arcane side of things, I don't have much of an understanding of these things.
Anxiety.
13.
Yes.
Much prefer to stop. I need to roll D20.
These sort of things are a tragedy. I won't even begin to understand all the inner workings of. You called it dragon's blood. Say in my day, I am an old man. Dragon's blood was something different. I'm not familiar with that term.
Crystal, ambergris.
Very pretty things to have at your house, I suppose, but
Listen, your face does a lot of work with the looking dumb act. You're not fooling me.
have you seen my face?
You know why you were there that night.
I do.
So why don't you start telling me the fucking truth?
I think I will. I would suggest as well that you do try to find the other 3 individuals that was there that night. 3 of them there was.
What are you?
Hey, what do you mean?
Do you class yourself as alive? Because I had my alchemist look at you when you came in. You certainly don't look
I
alive.
mean, that's what What am I speaking about the elders?
Well, it's a medical fact.
I mean,
See,
I might be a little bit rough around the edges.
if you're technically deceased and you're not cooperating with my investigation, I can send you up to the Abbey. Ain't you like Sergeant Speak a lot up here?
Never been into all that hocus religious shit.
Why don't I just send you for incineration, scatter your ashes on the lake? You can cooperate.
Well,
And if I can recover some semblance of my investigation, I might just let you walk
well,
out.
of course, that is why I will fully cooperate with you. 3 individuals there was. So you speak to that. I never did catch his name, but I walked down there for some wood for a stick. You know, I'm an old boy. You took my stick, didn't you? I can't get up and work.
Make a lava check. What would you call this? I think we'll roll with deception.
Yeah.
That
Just how I
terrible.
feel.
That's terrible. That's an 8.
You can tell you're on thin ice, and
We meant to stop talking about that because we know it's just that joke.
Well, but here's the thing. So I went down there and I went in.
do you speak Norwich? Do you care to speak Norwich? No. He says something. Not to you.
Come again. I miss it.
Make a. I want to say wisdom save. Let me just double check
You hate no. I hate no.
No. Ugh.
Make a charisma save.
Charisma save.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
I'll get the old dice out.
You fail. You feel a sudden stutter come into your mouth as you try to continue telling your story about the stick, about the other 3 individuals, and the words just can't leave your mouth. You are compelled at this point to say nothing but the truth. You're under the effect of the zone of true story.
I wish I had balls so I could lick them still.
I think we'll finally reach an understanding. Let's try a quick fire round on yes and no answers. Do you understand? Vocalize, please.
Yes.
Do you know why you were in the warehouse last night? Cool.
Yes.
Was it to do with my drug investigation?
No.
Do you keep in good shape? Quicker, please.
No.
Have you ever been involved in a carriage accident?
No.
Would you describe your diet as poor?
Yes.
Have you had a serious head injury? Do you
Yes.
sleep well?
No.
Do you speak Infernal?
Yes.
Do you dream in other languages?
No.
Do you hear voices that aren't your own? Have you ever had a vision of a man riding a flaming horse? Answer, please.
Well, I think this is getting a bit out of hand.
Are you alive?
I'm here, ain't I?
Do you think you're alive? Yes and no.
Yes.
Do you hate your father?
No.
Have you ever took a standard divination test? Have you ever attended a seance? Are you suspicious of cats? Do you see yourself when you look in mirrors?
You say cats. Fucking hate the cunts.
Do you know what the shards of Tenebris are?
Who?
Have you took psychotropic substances in the last 48 hours?
No.
Can you control your own actions?
Yes.
Do you know what happens to unclaimed corpses in the street?
Who?
Do you think yourself intelligent?
I wouldn't say that was a word I would use to describe myself, no. Wise, perhaps, but not intelligent.
Do you know why you're here?
No.
There is, at this point, a knocking noise. The whole room shakes. Make an insight check.
Should roll dice. That's 17. 17. Yeah.
Although he tries to ignore it, you can see the detective is perturbed by this knocking.
So,
Why were you putting me last night?
we was, or I, should I say, I was there under the instructions that you perhaps will answer that, because I don't really understand how these city things work. But that doesn't sound normal to me.
You can see him start to grind his teeth.
Don't worry, I want the paperwork. Do you want
I'll continue with my investigation. What do you know of the Xanathar food?
What?
And there is a billow of smoke and the smell of brimstone and sulfur.
I'm sorry to interrupt your investigation, detective. I tried knocking, but there was no response.
This is my witness.
Oh, is he a witness? So he is not being held against his will.
I'm yet to determine if I have cause.
We have to determine. So you have not charged him with anything quite yet.
I have reasonable suspicion and I am within your right.
I am not so sure. You see, your jurisdiction is with the living. And while he's not quite dead, this one, he's not quite fully in your jurisdiction, is he?
If I have due cause to believe that he has broken any of the laws of light,
So you are saying you have charged him,
I have not yet.
so he is free to go.
You can see a vein pulse in his forehead. He picks up one of the files and throws it at the man.
I assume this voice is from behind me, so I cannot see what's.
The file goes, if you'd like to turn around,
I'm going to sit where I am.
you sit where you are, just looking forward.
I'm going to just eyeball the note. I'm just going to
No. He's furious. He's red in the face. He has a vein which looks like it's about to pop. And he's shaking in fury. Fine, fucking take him. See if I fucking care.
As I'm being honest, it does look like you care. But I'll leave you with that. I have.
I'll turn around and have a look at the voice that I heard.
You see, almost looks like a parody. He's wearing a suit. The suit is ragged and ripped in places. He is humanoid. Well, also you would say human, but his face is so disfigured and pulled and kind of crumpled up that he is of an indeterminate race. One eyeball is larger than the other, and he has a chin which goes to one side.
I am glad we could come to some agreement. I will leave you to your work, Detective. You.
And he puts out a hand with extraordinarily long fingers for a human shot.
You come with me now.
I'll do that. If you could just help an old man up.
He assists.
Well, thank you.
His grip is surprisingly strong since he looks hunchback.
Much obliged.
He leads you toward a wall, and the wall begins to reverberate, and then suddenly there is a door there. As he stands at the precipice of the door,
One more thing. That outburst of anger, it will lead you to an early grave, Detective Van Quebec.
meanwhile, some time has passed as you are making your way across Lake Dawn, the northern side. Where are you trying to go?
Anywhere where the authority is not.
Isn't your friend there meant to be some sort of guide?
I mean, can we see along the banks if it looks like any movement coming towards us? So, like, is it as though they are pursuing us? Because they know we've come into the lake, haven't they? So they might be checking it out.
Check. Do you have dark vision, Vasily?
Don't know. I think so.
I do.
You don't. These two do. Make it with disadvantage, Vasily, unless you wish to light a torch.
Definitely not. I assume the other two can still roll as well, though, can't they?
You can roll straight.
Me? Yay! What am I rolling?
Oh, but you're exhausted, so it's at disadvantage.
I was going to say. Oh,
I should roll.
why don't you roll?
I rolled an 11.
I rolled a 17 and
Okay.
a 19. I'll take 17.
Oh, mate.
Total 17.
Yes.
So between the two of you, you can see that this side of the lake, there's very little activity. There is in the distance noise of wildlife, occasional howl of a wolf, local faunas of the area. You read in your guide, William.
Take our chances with the monsters.
Further from civilization would certainly be into the Salic Woods. However, the path back to the city around the lakeside does look clear. Okay. And activity on the lake seems to have subsided somewhat. Valacruz is also huge. Even if it's an easy city to get lost.
Towards the quieter edge of the city.
Maybe I'm not really sure I want to be carting that arm around for longer than we need to.
I think we take it back to the Institute.
They don't know we're from the institute.
No, it's true. Why have we?
Provided we aren't spotted heading back.
Why did you want us to get an arm?
It's obviously some sort of importance.
Strange.
Would I know historically what it?
I was about to say the same thing as a guide or a local. Would I have heard of
You may know. We don't.
this sacred fetid limb?
Make history checks.
Unless
We would
part
be
of the
familiar.
curriculum.
No.
I
I think
Well,
my
I see
natural
that,
one
actually.
will be the lowest one there.
I
I
do have good
can't
see. I get the impression from the fact that Anna covered her arm in bandages.
Yeah, but that was after, wasn't it? Was it before?
No, that was while she was in Barovia.
Yes.
It was later
So-
replaced with prosthetic.
Yes, it was. When the technology became available, and if the arm aged, she replaced it.
Make a history check.
I did. I got a natural one. That's my disadvantage.
William?
Steve, use real dice.
It's disadvantage.
Oh yeah, that's it.
William?
Or 17.
Oh, better than me.
And Vasily? You do not know.
That's just 6.
You do not know. It is obscure trivia.
Right.
Which was you expect to find someone's arm just floating around?
Very true. But, this is obviously what we sort. Figure it out later, but for now we need to get
To the
safety.
do you know around here where we could rest up?
Oh, of course you didn't. Yeah, you need a rest.
Feeling my best.
The institute somewhere.
Okay. Well, I'm your head beard then.
You make your way back to the institute. It takes
Distances.
some time. 3, maybe 4 hours by the time you're.
Yeah, it's
Fucking far.
yeah.
By the it's approximately an hour back to the edge of Velocrest. Back to the institute is a further 2 hours, unless you're going to pay for a carriage or take an in-city train.
Carriage isn't a bad shout. Although, would we be able to see if they? It appears they're doing any checks.
Would be hidden in the carriage.
Do you have the coin to pay?
William sounds rich.
He's not. He spent all his money on drugs.
Oh shit!
I don't think I ever logged any starting gold.
How many addicts are rich?
Yeah.
I never logged starting gold, so I have no idea.
We will say, will you
I could
walk?
offer some drag.
We walk. No, I think you should keep that very much to yourself,
Yeah.
and then I think it should be got rid of.
Yes.
In-
Into my system.
Oh my god!
Make stealth checks as you inconspicuously try to walk through the night.
Jesus. 8, which would actually be a natural. God damn it! I rolled a 19 first.
Right.
6.
I'm really not feeling very well, gentlemen. No, I hate to be a burden. And pull the whole
14.
damsel in distress stick until you slow the fuck down.
Vasili and William, you're making quite quiet progress. Althea, you are, because you're so tired, concentrating less on blending in and more just putting one foot in front of the other. Hey, pretty lady.
Oh, I'm really not in the mood.
Oh, you don't have time for me.
Certainly not.
Oh, that's very rude. Oh, come say hello.
I think you've already said hello. And good night.
That's fucking bitch.
Thank you.
Eventually, you make your way back to the institute, or rather, Dawnville Street. Just as dawn is approaching and more people are coming out of their houses, you see the building, or the street in front of the building, is cordoned off.
How did they know?
Members of the Valcrest police have created a cordon, and
They must have broken Rancid.
objects are being tussled around from within. You can see the doors were already on their hinges before they approached. People coming out.
Should we tell the carriage driver to ride on?
We walked, for God's sake. I'm. Oh.
It was
Number 10.
Anton Drabesco.
Very good.
Ah, yes.
William having an inspiration.
Woo! Have you written there?
I made a note.
I can't read. You also read your note.
Well done, you.
Very impressed. Oh, God. Well, what now?
There's an old woman on the hat. Oh, there's an old woman on a hat. There's an old woman with a cat on her shoulder. A black cat comes out. Oh, finally dragging off old man Drabesco.
What? Why?
Well, they say he shot a kid.
What?
Taking him to the loony bin.
What a kid.
He shoots kids every day. We've been complaining to the police department for ages.
Are the children not thieves? Maybe I shouldn't talk to this boy.
No, let's go. We need to get out of here right now.
Make a perception check. All three of you, I suppose.
15.
5 or a 5. It's a 5.
Okay, the half elves have no idea, but Vasili,
What's going on?
It's very wet and cold and tired.
a rather large horse effigy drawn carriage, very fine looking, black with golden filigree, approaches almost on top of you. You're the only ones who notice there's a window also. Excuse me, gentlemen, picking up who will live soon. You seem being awfully disposed.
Fuck it. Go on then.
Are you only offering this lift to the gentleman?
Gentlemen and ladies, sorry.
Excuse me, who are you?
Oh, we can discuss introductions once you get into my carriage. I don't like to hold conversations in the street.
I don't tend to enjoy being in the carriages of strange beings.
Well, we don't have any other choice. He seems to know us more than we know.
And the alternative is getting picked up by the police.
That's not knowing it.
If he's not a copper himself.
Oh, I assure you, I'm not.
Realising I have tits.
Valacrest Police Department, if that's what you're asking. No, I'm rather a fan of your work at the Institute, and I thought I'd pay you a visit, but since we can't talk in your home, why don't we pop round to pay for my old shack?
Right, you're not really selling it. Give us a reason to trust you, and we'll come with you.
Is it offering help when the police are right there?
Yeah, I'll get him.
Yes, I suppose I could have called out to the Valacrest Police and said,
I would not suggest
not
you do that.
Don't worry.
I want to have a conversation with you either way. I prefer to have conversations in my town carriage. If you want to continue talking through this window, that is fine.
Open the door. Get
And
him.
then, as you correctly pointed out, yes, okay.
I wrenched the door open and
just
stepped
gonna get
into the carriage.
Where's the food?
I need to sleep.
Yes, you do. You need to
Thank you. We all smell like this.
Yes.
Do I recognise him?
Make a history check. Yeah, history check. Actually, there is a chance you could recognize this person.
No, 8.
No, that roll.
I'm gonna back on the plastic door.
Yeah.
D&D
I'm not going to get one out of the car.
What did you have?
8.
8. Oh no, you have no idea.
We all do it.
I rolled a
No.
9.
I mean, you can, but you're not from Barovia,
yes,
so the chances. No,
No, don't.
you don't know him.
If only he was ranted with this, he would know.
No.
No. I don't fucking know anyone, mate.
True.
Actually, William, you're proficient in history, yes?
Yes.
Oh, check. First chemistry.
I'm on that one.
You have no idea.
We're not supposed to know who this guy is yet.
It looks like he has money though.
Oh,
Oh, shit at chemistry.
Oh, he wants to buy some drugs.
you buy it?
I think you gave him an F. Very stupid.
I can offer you some refreshments while we travel, but there will be a
Do you have any
breakfast. I do.
Thank you.
And he pulls out a small a chair folds down to reveal a small
Ooh, champagne cooler.
yes, there's a cooler. There is a crystal
Like a decanter.
it's like a bottle of some fine spirit with a crystal topper.
Excellent. I picked them up.
It's fire whiskey, dwarven brew.
We could do with warming up.
It's a bit early for me. Yes, imported. Anyway,
It's been a long night. Please spit out what? Yes, continue, carry on. Yes, what? Please.
yes, if you
We've had a
would.
day, okay?
So I hear. And I was expecting 4 of you.
Yes, well, things happened. We lost one to the authorities.
We're aware.
We.
Of course you are.
Yes, I represent an organization.
If you do. You always do.
We call ourselves the Night Watch, whereas Valkyra's police department concern themselves with, what would you say, secular matters. We are somewhat more concerned with that which lies outside the law. Outside the law of the light, at any rate. Have you ever heard the expression, Valkresk is 2 cities divided by a river?
No, we literally just got it.
Yes, what she says.
It's very true.
We've had little time for indulging in the local culture as of yet.
Well, it's true, and it's true than most people realize. There are 2 cities in Valkresk, one of the light and one of the dark. We concern ourselves with policing the dark.
And by dog, you mean
Do the police not go out without their ambaric lanterns? Is that the issue?
move the night.
There are politics, treaties, historical agreements, jurisdictions, joy. And yeah, primarily they specialize in what they specialize in, we specialize in what we specialize, and you specialize in what you specialize. It has been a long time since the Institute was allowed to step foot in Valkresk. The old Raven had certain appropriations against knowledge hunters coming to Barovia. But we think we might have a lot in common. Common aims, common objectives, and complementary skill sets. We know a lot of this city. You know very little. You know a lot about creatures of the night. But I will be doing myself injustice, since it is our speciality. But you can go places we can't. You see?
So I don't.
Did we catch his name? Yeah,
No. I've been ever so rude.
How was it a disadvantage?
you
Sir?
come across it.
I opened the name table and everything, and then didn't look at it.
Most people are given a name at birth. Why did you choose one per meeting?
The pleasure to meet you, Mr. Tim.
My name is Rat. Nope, different one. My name is Lubomir Watcher.
Watcher.
How do you spell that?
I'm just going phonetically.
Lubomir. Lubomir Watcher.
Yeah.
We'll call him L.
Watchers. Do I recall the name Watcher from Masterpiece?
Make a history check.
Probably not this morning, to be fair.
William, you can make a history check. Are you proficient in history?
I'm not.
Okay, well, make a history check.
I've got an 11.
No, I'm not my DM, is he?
Yes.
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 20, therefore 26.
A finely dressed human with shocking blonde hair. A prop. You
Okay.
you do not know the name Lubomir, but the name Watcher rings a bell.
Does indeed.
The Watchers were a noble family.
God.
They were nobility
Yes.
Yes.
from for centuries, since before the dawn.
Does he look like Quentin?
You don't know who Quentin is.
No, I don't.
He doesn't look like a corpse.
He's human. He has shocking blonde hair and kind of coif, and
So Quentin, like
a high collar. He has a cane.
fondness for boys.
Carriage.
That boy.
Is that a heritable trait? I've never said it. Is that heritable?
It's hereditary, isn't it?
Yes. So the Watchers are a noble.
Hereditary.
The Watchers were a noble family. They have been noble for centuries. They were instrumental during the Dawning. They were on the original High Council after the overthrow of Strahd, and they have been involved in council politics since the dawn, for a century. They were wealthy before. With the growth of Valacres, the unearthing of, you rolled a 26?
Yes.
Okay, you get a lot then. Okay, so with the expansion of Valacres, the discovery of new magical items and bardic technology, they capitalized on it. They increased their wealth tenfold. What's more, they always adopted a stance of being they were very progressive in that they wanted to push the boundaries of knowledge. They wanted to they pushed for the dissemination of effigies and the manufacture of effigies in Valacres, the creation of effigies in the first place. They are they are part of the political faction called Lucianite.
I don't know that.
Would you like to know more?
Yes.
Okay, so after the dawn, there was an Barovia as a whole was very fragmented, even though certain individuals had hope that they would come together, they would unite. Very quickly, people turned against each other. There were literal witch hunts. People accused of being vampires, then people accused of being werewolves, people accused of being hags, the undead, the half-breeds, neverborns. Eventually, Father Lucian, an original member of the founding council, proposed a treaty between all those who resided in Barovia that governed those in Mother's Night's domain and those in the Morning Woods. Those who choose to walk in the light or are, through circumstance of their nature, born in the light, will obey the laws of the light. But likewise, those born in the dark, forced to tread the path of the dark, must obey the laws of the night. The Lucianites proposed a tentative peace between all inhabitants of Rova, even those who some would consider monsters. The opposing side, of course, the Valanquerites, did not trust dark knowledge found in the Amber Temple, and believed that the monsters should be, if not killed, forced out of Barovia, and Barovia should be the land of the living. The Lady Watcher, the Watcher family are at their worst capitalists who saw opportunity and capitalize on it quite literally. But at best, progressives arguing for new technologies, new knowledge, peace between all peoples. You just said my NPC speech.
So allow me to explain some of my family history.
Yeah.
You may or may not have heard of the Watchers.
I know you quite well. Actually. I've read a few novella on you. The news was come out very bit before our arrival.
I see both our reputations precede us. That saves me some time.
They do. They're quite well known around the Arctic Institute.
We have arrived at my.
What's my watching?
We stop looking at each other. I need to sleep.
We have arrived at my humble abode. And he sees a literal mansion. You have gone up out of the city onto the what was once moorland, hilly areas, and there is quite a large estate. You're of course free to rest here. We were about to serve breakfast, but would you like business before or after you rest?
After.
Yes.
Eat, rest, business.
We are quite spent.
Well then, you are welcome. Here opens this door. Rest as long as you need. Eat what you have. As you enter, music begins to play, and effigies dressed. Well, they're not dressed, but like they have engravings of bow ties and tails. Come up with drinks. Go to take your coats and begin. They have the porcelain faces which reveal nothing of their expression.
Takes you drink.
If you wish anything, you need only ask in this place.
Right. Now,
The bed.
for now, rest. And we'll converge later.
Very well. So you can take a long rest based on how long it's been since you long rested. And
we're doing watches.
I want. Oh, that's up to you. Would you like to? How are you going to sleep? What's the sleeping room?
Based on what I know.
I'm taking this room. I'm just going to the next room and fall asleep.
Okay.
Don't.
You get to the nearest room, fall asleep. So you're taking individual rooms?
Yeah.
Okay. Take individual rooms. We'll take a pause there. It's a natural pause to literally.
Oh, yeah.
Back in room.
You awake from your rest.
Oh, thanks. Am I molested?
No. I would like William to make a constitution save.
There are no negative consequences. On save. Let's say we throw. Oh, fuck. That's 4. That's 2. That's 2. Yeah. Maybe rolling those good.
You have a deep come down.
Should you say some more?
You feel your eyes are drilling into the back of your head. And you just feel lethargic and your energy spent from you.
William. Oh, Billy boy.
Billy, I think you should take more of that.
That's not a bad idea. If you said it, it's a bad.
It will make the pain go away. It will shorten the length of the misery.
Good point.
There is the smell of food walking throughout the house.
That's breakfast.
It's closer to dinner time now.
Perhaps I need dinner breakfast.
Not a half.
Well,
Second.
yeah, yeah. Now, I think I've got one of these.
I presume you go to dinner.
Yeah.
There is a long table.
Oh.
It could easily sit 16 people, and places are arranged for 6. The arm, Lubomir.
Must have the arm
Where did you put it when you went to sleep?
next to. I put it in bed with me.
It's still there.
You woke up cradling it.
Why is it in the bed?
I don't know where to put it.
Are you going to take it to dinner, or are you going to leave it in your room?
Question.
Do we have a rucksack we could put it in? Or
Stow it somewhere, like
They've set a place for it.
within my.
It's an hole.
Oh, I
No, I don't think you could stow it on your person.
would I?
not even in a rucksack?
No, I don't think so.
Do I want to be that guy with the arm?
Please no.
I might just not carry it around with me. No, people will recognise it.
There's an arm.
If I sort of hide it with my belongings in the room,
Yes, in a box.
I'd perhaps do that.
Yeah, you hide it with
Hide it
your belongings.
underneath.
I presume you're not going to take like your rucksack
Exactly.
to dinner. Maybe Althea may take her blade.
Obviously.
I've got my blade right here.
Oh,
I already have it.
you already have inspiration. Otherwise, I was going to give it you.
Didn't work on Martha in year 12. Didn't work right now.
By the way, you can use inspiration on saves, just for future notice.
Oh, okay, yeah, good point. Yeah.
Yeah, I just forgot that as well.
Oh, also you get your divination rolls. I think, is it at dawn or at the long rest?
After a long rest.
You get your divination rolls.
My poor 10.
So, Lubomir is already sitting. And at the head of the table, there is a finely dressed woman in a long red and black dress. She has, I have a picture actually. Rather, there we go. Rather lovely hair, sharp, defined features, a bit of a stern expression. Welcome, she says, to the Watcher Estate. I hope you rested well. Lubomir sits by her side, and there is plates nearby throughout the table. Please sit. Indulge in our hospitality.
Anyway.
Oh,
Ignore
sure, we can
him.
get one. There's a click and an effigy moves up. She stands by your side with the bottle. You may want to go easy on that stuff. It's rather strong for most constitutions. She looks down her nose at you. Some more than most.
We should see. That's it, fine. Thank you for your hospitality. Why are we here?
Straight to business. I appreciate it. We have business that needs taken care of, and we'd like you to take care of it.
What makes you think we are business takers?
Your associate was captured by Valcrest Police Department. We have connections deep within Milton Hold. We believe with some confidence that we can arrange for his release.
Yes.
We wish you to take this opportunity in exchange for wish to assist you. And we hope that this is the start of a fruitful relationship while you are within Valcrest. Valcrest has many dangers, and you, while talented, know little of the world. If you forgive me from insulting your guide's knowledge, I'm sure it is extensive, albeit somewhat out of date, and she turns towards you, Veselai. That is not to disparage your talents elsewhere, but you require, what would you say, political savoir, which I think you are severely lacking since you are, well, at least a quarter of you find yourself at the council's pleasure on your first night.
Yes. Okay, you're correct. We scratch your back, you scratch our hands. Relatively simple.
Where are we meant to base ourselves? If the police or council have taken over the institutes for me.
You may be able to clear up some of the paperwork regarding public ownership of 221 William Street. It is ostensibly still in the hands of Mr. Quis, so it's still in his possession, although he has been institutionalized. Such matters take time and paperwork to fully formalize. Until that time, you are welcome to base yourselves here, or you can, I'm sure, find many distilleries within Valcrest. We may be able to provide a stipend while we work on our behalf.
What work is it that you would want us to do?
At the Quis, there has been reports of dogs. They keep a pack of guard dogs. Over the course of the past 3 nights, they have all died. They have been found dead, completely exsanguinated. We have
William is one of
Worry.
we have certain suspicions.
quite obvious.
True. But the most obvious solution in growth is not always
Getting that feeling.
the point. well occurs to police department, neither have the will or the legal authority to pursue it themselves. The night watch, that falls under our jurisdiction, however, we also find our hands full of findings.
Why?
As I am led to understand, you know somewhat about the history of Dawn and the chaos which surrounded the Dawn immediately after the Lucian Accords, the signing of the
Brilliant
Treaty.
films.
So anyway. We police those which you know. Our modus operandi, our domains are somewhat different to VPD. Nevertheless, we have as much an obligation to protect those in the dark as we do to protect those in the light from those in the dark.
We don't want a wooden stake situation.
We cannot do so. That would be an extra legal measure. And it would perhaps cause more of a chaotic situation to become more chaotic if we to act directly against such creatures. Do you follow my meaning so far?
Yes, I think I understand.
If, however, an outside influence was to settle the matter quietly,
And that's not painting a target on our backs because
you already have it, it is affected.
oh,
In fact, if this creature was to die, you would be already the princess.
no,
This creature has as much of a right to live under over as any one of us. However, their actions potentially jeopardize the truce. And it is a fragile thing which we have a great interest in protecting. If the problem were to resolve itself without the involvement of the night watch, all would be well.
Jesus, wept.
Right, is that loud? Making sure you're awake.
Yeah.
Yes, I understand. When you said these dogs were killed by the Quis,
By the Quis, yes.
is that where you suggest we start?
I don't wish to tell investigators such as yourselves how to perform your investigation, but that would be where I would start. It is the Roger's own business. Firstly,
you don't want to have to wash your hands of it, so you're not even going to touch it. Brilliant.
That is what I think.
Then.
Do you have any more information on the possible suspects?
we do. We like to keep a record of all potential threats to the truce and all those who we are sworn to protect. We believe that Elias Alexandru is a dock worker, a member of their graveyard shift. We believe he is an unregistered vampire. That would be in conjunction with the deceased canines. What paints a pretty picture. We'd rather this all get settled before anyone else makes the connections we have.
Flies off and his freedom, and so be it.
There's a faint ring of the bell. Dead.
Did you know?
Hello. Mhm.
Who do I like?
After your investigation, the creature accompanying you makes him like talk. And begins coughing up literal tar.
I smoked cigars 50 years ago, and still I have the poison in my lungs. If they don't get you one way, they'll get you another. What was I saying?
Cigars was all I heard.
Oh, sorry. Do you care to smoke?
I don't think it has anywhere to go if you follow my drift.
I do. It's very funny. No lumps.
As funny as that is, yes.
Anyway, I think we have been here long enough.
For like several hours, you've been in another doorless, windowless room.
Yes, I think it is time.
He reaches out his hand.
Before I take your hand, can I get your name, sir?
I am Grogu.
Oh, it's a pleasure. A strange pleasure, I might add, but a pleasure all the same. I did not care for you.
Bedfellows.
Well, that's one way of putting it, yeah.
Are we going to jump in bed together? You scratch my back, I scratch yours.
I'll be honest, I've never had much need of a bed.
Oh, you should try it. It is much more comfortable than coffee. Come, we dodo.
And he reaches out.
Take his hand. Yeah.
There is a billowing of smoke around both. Sulfur, brimstone, and tobacco fills your nose. There's darkness, sound in the distance for one screaming, and then you appear in the dining room of the Watchers.
My lady, I sorry I dodo. We had such conversation, it went on.
Quiet, Grogu.
Yes, my lady.
You can go now.
Yes, my lady.
And there's another. As he disappears. You see, we can work quickly.
I have to say, this is an improvement on my previous bedding arrangements. My lady, I assume. I have you to thank.
We arranged for your release. Your friends have made a bargain.
We are grateful. Friends is a strong word these days, isn't it?
Really, that actually.
But that is not to say I'm not grateful. I'm a lot easier on the eye than the little gnomish one.
Come back, Andy.
And he comes back.
I'm speaking from beyond the grave. Ooh.
Terrifying. Make
So the Pellhound's now back with us.
Yes, you're all in singing together.
We don't need to kill the
Nicely
vampire.
done.
It's free.
If you have any further questions from Lady Watcher, now is the time. I know it's been out of it.
Do you have, what word do we have that our belongings can be left here safely?
Yes, we trust you with the particulars.
You have money. If that does not suffice, there are lock boxes in several banks in the city.
Less than I say. But it's tricky if you open a bank account, I'm just a citrus. Yes, and here's my identification. It is not how I thought that first assignment would go.
No. This is new.
Right. Shit.
Well, I think it's safe. I think it's safe.
I hope so.
I'm sure my companions will fill me in on the details, but I don't believe we've been introduced.
Lady Fiona Watcher.
Fiona, Lady Fiona Watcher. That's you.
It's the smallest of them. Watchers of her life.
Didn't take long.
I clocked it way back when you said the quote, but anyway.
I don't know.
Was the whole quote?
I might have been going to it. Not the time, not the time.
Oh, I appreciate
You were a lot more attached to it than most of us.
yes. Woof, woof. We'll see. Catchphrase.
All right, because he's a dog.
Flash heart with a fucking neutered.
Companions are all well.
We survived, yes.
Yes, I had a marvellous evening swimming across the lake.
I'm afraid so. I failed as a guide, although I was never one for swimming.
No, you did not fail. That's taking a lot for me to say. Well,
Don't worry, Rancid. I picked up where you left off.
Yeah, I figured you would, Bassino, yes.
Yes. After an hour of swimming, we had 3 hours of walking. It was most.
Kept us all very warm.
And then we found that our institute has been shut down because the
Oh yeah,
idiot
you don't know that yet.
shot a fucking child. Not that the child was fucking, he just shot it.
Given our first meeting with the individual, I think that tracks. Yeah.
Yes.
Turns out, apparently, it's been a complaint of the populace for quite a while.
It's very him.
Been shooting children for quite some time. So now he's left us with a dismembered limb and these shady fuckers. No offense meant, Lady Watcher, to do our dealings with.
Lady Watcher, what do you know of our so-called previous patron?
Anton.
Anton,
Oh, Anton Zabriskie.
that's the name, yes.
Very
An eclectic man. Some would say obsessive.
He shot children. He shot children, Hella.
That's what I'm trying to ascertain. Did he shoot? Yeah. I think you've answered the question.
That was his greeting, if you recall. He shot at us.
Yes.
He ran a museum to warn us. He's delighted to have the Institute request the establishment of the embassy. Feels everything he always was adamant about.
The Institute's a massive force for which we wouldn't be expecting kind of backing for everything.
So you spoke of business
Right.
arrangement, is that correct?
I did.
So my companions have entered into business with you.
The business is murder.
So by extension, my services are yours as well.
Sorry, history repeated.
I have nothing else to say.
Star-crossed.
Two souls separated by the years.
Destined to be together.
Well,
Very good one, dear. Do I have my belongings returned?
yes, yeah, that was secured by.
Times of yes.
So, yes, the meal comes to a close. It was quite a large steak, beef, ported, very fine in red wine, glaze.
Was there any place before myself?
There was.
It's untouched.
Okay.
I drink the glaze. Leave the steak.
Oh God.
That's pepper sauce.
William,
It was wine based.
Do you, there were etiquette lessons?
I'm sure it's fine. I ate while I was being held. So by all means, if anybody wishes, do you
Not stupid. I have eyes.
Hounds are all in ravenous. There will be waste.
don't you have effigy hounds? Got effigy everything else.
No, sometimes a living touches.
I recoil slightly.
Good luck, these effigies.
the gesture was appreciated also.
Right. Well, I suppose you have kept your end of the bargain. We'll keep our
Yes,
looking on our way.
you are well rested, but I have been up for quite a while making arrangements. If you excuse me, anything further? May I ask an effigy or libret? Yeah.
Lube, for sure.
Zuba.
And Lady Watcher politely stands up and leaves. So you're real monster hunters, are you?
Probably so.
You've got to shit, hasn't it?
There was the thing on the train. I mean, that was something, wasn't it?
They're not anymore.
Good to be back on the hunt.
Yes, so we can't replicate.
As what?
Out of curiosity, what weapons do you wield? Do you lay bait? Do you
We have our techniques, are we can't share such knowledge with those from outside the institution.
of course. Something to
Sure.
advice implying you didn't know what
Our
you were
methods are
doing.
clearly effective.
But yes, I'm from the school of wing it.
Oh my God. Just stop talking.
Ian knows when his
Inside
voice
joke.
is not needed.
Inside
Here's a
joke.
wine.
Exactly.
Drink this and stop talking, please.
Thank you. Quite different, isn't it? She's just holding around.
Well, at the Watcher House, we do have a modest armory and the research library. Nothing comparable to the universal stack. But you may find some.
We know when chasing a vampire, silver is the weapon of choice.
That's true in this campaign.
Yeah, is it now canon?
It is canon.
Oh,
Excellent.
I can't tell the joke.
No, I'm
Deadly serious.
I'm being serious. The whole setup of this character asking what weapons you use was to me to say, like, think about this before you go in.
Do you have the facilities for silvering weapons? Or is that a request too far?
Oh, as I said, our army is modest. We don't have a smithy on stash, but
You have oils,
You mentioned a library.
runes.
Can I call you Mr.
You can call me whatever you like, sweet.
no, but I can refer you to several alchemists and armorers in the city who will.
Interesting.
Vassalai, you know.
One of us?
You know in particular the person who does your body work. He does. His backstreet trade is in backstreet surgery, but he's an armorer as his primary profession. And now that the name springs to mind, you look down at the extensive wounds you took in the previous battle, and you begin to think this body might need a touch-up. There is certain areas which are literally hanging on by a thread. I need to ask him to get his staple gun out. His name is...
And you wrote it down because I'm not.
Well, you need him as well, mate.
Yeah, but we don't know what he's called. You'll have to tell us.
Yeah.
This is your knowledge.
His name is Rick.
But that means you'll never find out about it. Oh no, wait, sorry, that was Joe. I know this really plot pertinent thing. You'll never hear about it.
But you never asked. That's not the point.
Wait, you could heal people this whole campaign? No one asked you
I
to.
can do that.
His name is Mekislav.
What was that? Yeah. It's like,
Make you slim.
Make you slim.
Look at the face of the baby, and I thought, make you slim.
It was the mustache.
Yeah, and his shop is not too far from the Quis.
Okay.
it's near the what?
Quis.
Okay.
Where we're going is the dock.
Keys is in dogs, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes.
The keys with a Q.
We're looking for aloof.
Ways.
Quis. Pires Quis.
Now I understand.
This was a serious campaign. What's happened?
When you introduced Joe's old love interest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hit that once.
That's why they neutered you.
Well, gentlemen, you clearly have it all in hand.
And I do not.
Yes, I would like to check out this library. Where are you leaving? To your library. That's not a you.
It's, be my guest. Is he always like that?
I'm afraid so. I'm afraid she's never been
Oh, God.
quite one for social niceties and graces, but we do our best. We've come a long way, actually.
Where's the vampire books? Come on.
He'll speak to people. You know, you see how he looks you. You see how he looks you in the eye now when he talks to you. 4 years it took me to get him to
vampire. Come on.
4 years.
This sort of you'll need to make a research check to work out.
We don't have research.
No, it's not a skill. I'm trying to think. I
No, it's
suppose
not
history. No, it would be investigation. Of course, it would be investigation. You're literally looking for something.
Investigation is just a good side. I don't know why I've changed my voice. Oh, that's a good roll. That's a 25. Oh God, it's
Drugs are kicking in.
I've had wine.
Start the day with opus. Be perky all day long. That's what they say.
Serious campaign, like.
Dear Lord.
It's 1950s D&D.
Hey, see?
Start your day with the uppers, the right way.
What would you like to know?
How to kill.
Kill a vampire. What do we need to know about this? What? Well, I assume it's a vampire.
You assume it's a vampire.
Is that not what Lady Watch said?
And the lady watcher said there is a vampire. There is a
They-
suspected
they-
unregistered
they-
vampire who
suspected
works
unregistered
there,
vampire.
and they're exaggerated dogs.
Okay, let's
Jump
write
to
questions.
conclusions.
Could we say kind of what? Drain the blood out of creatures completely, not unlike a vampire.
Yes.
Are there any other things?
Vampires spin.
Are there anything other than a vampire?
Firstly, vampires come in several breeds. There is the higher vampire, or vampire lords, sometimes known, incredibly dangerous creatures, especially if they have access to spellcasting or other arcane measures, which they often do because they are so long-lived. Vampire warriors are higher vampires by all but name, but specialize in martial abilities. Vampire spawn are less dangerous, but share many of the weaknesses and strengths of the higher vampire. Then there are other breeds of lesser vampire.
Are there any vampire known to attack animals rather than anything?
Interesting. You know what I might do? I might, in between sessions, answer all questions for the night.
Yeah, okay.
But we will say for now, you're researching vampires.
Yep.
And or things which are like vampires.
Related.
Bad stuff. Bad stuff. Is there anything anyone else wants to do at
I'm resting because I haven't rested.
the rest?
Is there a library?
There's no library. No. There is, of course, an effigy which
Supply me with wine whilst I read.
no, this is not a. You can call for a servant if you wish. This is, those ladders which are rollers across bookcases. There is on rollers. It's kind of. It's the same form of a ladder on rollers, but it's more a winch. And attached to the winch, there is a legless torso with arms. And it goes up and down the bookcases, moving books around, opening them, cleaning, inspecting, even though it doesn't have eyes, putting it back.
I assume it can retrieve books that is. That's cool.
If you ask for specific criteria, yes.
Excellent. Don't have to move. Yes, I'll continue to swap up.
The wheels, by the way, are not powered like ambonically or otherwise. It locomotes itself by pulling itself across.
This place is fucked up. Why did we make it work?
Maybe we should have left Sean alone.
Yeah, maybe.
Mate, you're great again. He's got it on a hat.
Should be wearing it. Yeah, someone should be.
Basili, were you gonna
I, for one, agree with his anti-face stance.
do you have a request?
Basilai?
I thought.
Yeah. Sorry, that was hard to hear. Were you
Was
saying,
there-
do I have a request?
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say something a minute ago, but
Oh, it's only going to be if we're going to the weaponsmith, do we need to ask Lady Watcher for resources to enable us to pay for the services, said silvering, etc.?
Lady Watch has gone to bed. If you'd like to track down Lubomir,
Wait, just where's the safe? Where's the money?
Cancel my rest.
and
Horn dog.
But otherwise, I don't know if we can afford it, so we need something.
Oh, good.
I'm sorry, Vaslai. How can I help you?
Well, we've been brought on to complete this task for you, for your Lady Watcher, but we need to take on your resources to enable us to do it effectively. So we're gonna have to take on a weaponsmith to silver our weapons, because they're good against vampires, amongst other things. Do you have a line of credit that we can access?
Make a persuasion check.
Boop.
And that's fun, that's nice.
I've been a very good Andy.
That's just,
That is not the one.
that's better. Not that.
Can you see it?
Oh, I was sorry, I wasn't even
80 or 80?
18.
Plus 5. Because that's just the flat. It's 18 plus 5.
23.
Yeah.
He looks at you, skeptic. Certain expressions go across his face. First, amusement that you'd even ask, then skepticism, then that he's hearing what he's hearing, and then incredulity. But when he sees you're being earnest, line of credit. Suppose we could extend under assurances we would be paid.
Oh, yes, the Institute make that all right, I'm sure.
how much were you thinking this would cost?
Hard to say until we get to the weaponsmith. If you just give us your assurances that you will cover the costs, and we can put it on a tab for you, they will invoice you accordingly, and we'll take care of it after we've successfully completed your objective.
I'm not comfortable offering you carte blanche. That, I mean, what are we talking about here?
I mean, there's only so much money you can spend on silvering weapons. We were sought out by the Lady Watcher because she knows that we're reliable and trustworthy and will deliver, but we need that trust reciprocated. Unfortunately for you, in terms of gold, please. Money, please.
Do you want some money, Andy?
I love this character voice you're doing for this undead cyborg. It's
He sounds a lot
Yeah.
like Andy.
just picture, yeah.
I, with due respect, that's a lie. We don't trust each other yet. We're building bridges. So, but I understand the needs of your profession is dangerous. But on that note, well, that raises the question of whether we will see the gold in the end. I certainly can't give you a partner. And if you were to come with me with a reasonable number, then we can negotiate.
Fine. 50 silver.
50 silver. 5 gold.
Yeah. So,
That's low gold.
how much is it going to cost?
Really?
I was going to go 50 gold, but yeah. It's a bit hard when you don't know how much things cost.
Sorry, I didn't pick up on that. Okay. A rune would cost around 100 gold for a silver. For
Fucking hell, I was going well over.
a single rune. Silvering a sword, I believe, or silvering a weapon, I believe, is 10 gold. Putting an adamantine coat on it is when you put a rune into a weapon, it makes it magical, so it's pretty fucking good. But silvering a weapon is about 10 gold. Making a weapon adamantine is 100 gold. And oils, about around 50 gold per oil.
Oh, let's say we do a nice round thou.
About 1,000. Sounds reasonable.
So true.
Yes, I think we'll be able to spare that without even touching the books. I think we have that in petty cash around the house.
I thought as much.
Yes, he goes. I do hope you don't mind, however. There needs to be a paper trail of some sort. I can't just have 1,000 gold disappear, even if it is just under the amount which gets noticed.
That's fine. You can write something up. I'll sign
Yes.
whatever you want.
Okay, by all means. And
When he walks away, I look to Ransom and just go, oh, fucking live in.
he gives you, there is a little bit of paper and he has a small pen. Just sign here. Simple remuneration contract.
You're really good time.
I'm going to give it a glance over, assuming he's not trying to screw us over, Alex.
Make a
Reading check.
Perception?
investigation.
Investigation.
If it-
Oh,
if
God.
it was how small the text is, it would literally be perception, but this is more interpreting legalese.
What did you say it was? Sorry? Investigation.
Investigation.
12. Also, why was Althea rolling what she's stolen?
What? I thought Rollers have just doing anything. I'm good. I'm a good person.
It seems legit. Broadly speaking, it says that you, upon receipt of this money, you honestly and sincerely declare your intent to pay it back at a reasonable date, which is considered reasonable by
Perfect. Loose. I like it.
There is some contract about it. This is not met. Extra matters being taken care of, but it's all fine. It's all fine.
Sign away.
So anyway, cash or check.
Cash, please.
There you go. He hands you a small sack of
Saves us a trip to the bank.
10 platinum pieces, because who has 1,000 gold in a sack?
Pleasure doing business with you.
Any other business to attend to? Then we will say, with our players well rested and well read and well compensated, you make your way to good as Quis. And that's where we'll end this session.
Ah.
Bloody vampires, mate.
Oh my god, it was so good.
Like it?
I do like it.
So good. Fucking standard divination test. Oh my
I
god.
did enjoy that.
Love that. All will be well. Love that. Mate, all the law drops.
Just spend his days wanking now. Is that it? Oh, someone said a sentence to me. Oh, another one. Oh, I can compare that to what I've had in the past. Right one out, lads.
Let's just stop recording.
Amazing law.
But I'm loving you just talking about wanking.
Brilliant
Wanking
game.
game.
Oh, just pop into the bank.
Did you say
That sounded like hey.
the owner watch is going to get it?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I'm stopping now.
Yeah.
Wise move.